the sidebar checkout. In this video, we're going to go through how to set up a sidebar checkout donation template. Now, the sidebar checkout is a donation template that allows you to have your donation form on one side, including amounts, the ability to do tributes, to enter your billing information, payment information, address, and donate all on one page, while also including all of your content on the other side. Now, using this template, you can optionally choose whether your content is on the right or the left of the donation form. This template is very useful when you are doing appeals or campaigns that require a lot of content, and you'd like the donation options to be visible on the right while someone is scrolling through the content on the left. Now, another great use of this sidebar checkout is if you have a fund or a donation item and you'd like to do different appeals with that same fund, but to include different content on the page as well. Now, let's go through an example of how to set this up. It's important to note that the sidebar checkout consists of two things. It consists of your content, which is on this left-hand side here in my example, and it also consists of the donation item or the fund, which is included in the right side here as we scroll down. So for the first step, let's create the item that shows up on the right here. So to do that, we're going to go to Features, Sell and Fundraise, Items. Now let's create a new item. Let's enter a name for it. So let's just call it our general fund. And because this donation item is going to be included on this page where we're going to create the content for it, not all options that you set here will be used on that page. So we're only going to set the necessary fields here. So we're going to, we've entered a name of our item. Now let's set the price options. So if this is a donation, it's likely that there's a one-time option. So let's enter that one-time option, and it's one time. And we're going to change the price to donation. And let's enter our preset amount. So 25, 50, 100, and another amount as well. And let's also include a monthly donation option. So let's call it monthly and set the payments to recurring monthly. And it's a donation. And let's put in some presets as well. Okay, so now those have been added. Now, if you are using DonorPerfect, then you'd also want to make sure that you set up the correct GL, campaign, solicitations, and so on, DonorPerfect coding. But if you're not using DonorPerfect, you can leave this step out. So now that we've created our item, we've added our options. Let's hit save on that. And there we go, we have our item already created. Now let's create the actual sidebar checkout page with that content on the left. So to do this, we're going to go to Features, Website, Pages and Menus, and let's add a new page. And let's call it, let's just say our general fund. Now you can name it anything that you'd like. And we're going to leave it in the main menu for now. But for the page layout, we're going to choose Sidebar Checkout. Then let's say publish this now, and let's hit add and edit. So now that we've created the page and we've chosen the Sidebar Checkout, let's scroll down and we'll see that there's some more options available here. So here, let's specify the item or the fund that we'd like on our sidebar checkout. Actually, let's first see what it looks like now that we've created the page, but we haven't set anything up yet. So let's have a click on that. And it's just a blank page and the title shows up here. Okay, now let's select our item in here. So let's go with our general fund, which we've created. And now that we've put that in, we're going to say we want that to show up on the right of the page. And let's hit save there. And now let's see what that looks like. There we go. So now we have our donation option on the right here, and it has our one-time and monthly options that we specified when we created the general fund. And all of the other standard checkout fields that you'd expect. So billing, the option to create an account, how'd you hear about us, payment, address, and so on. So next thing we're going to want to do is create our content for the left side here. Now, any content that you put into this section here will show up on the left of the donation form. So let's first throw an image in there. I'm just going to choose an image from my site. Here we go. Now, oops, media. Here we go, insert image. Now, it's important that if we put in an image and we want it to take up the full width of this left side, that we click on the image, hit image options, and we're going to set the width of it to 100%, and we're going to set the height to auto. This is going to make the image show up 100% width of the left side, and it's also going to make it responsive on mobile, desktop, on different size screens. So let's hit save on that. Now let's refresh our general fund, and there we go. Here's our image. Now let's continue adding some more content in here. So we can next choose to add text in here. I'm just going to add a description here. And we can style this text. So let's make it a H2. And we can continue putting any other content that we want in here. We can also include content from the templates as well. So add template. And let's say we wanted a heading in there. Let's throw that in there. Let's throw a heading in there. And then we can throw in some more text below here. And you can put as much content as you'd like in here. Now let's hit save on that. And now let's refresh our general fund. And here we can see our content showing up on the left here. So the more content that we add, the further down the page this content will go. Now let's have a look at some other options for the sidebar checkout. So we're on our page here, and we're going to scroll down to the sidebar checkout options. And some other options would be, we can change whether we want the sidebar on the left or right. We can specify if we'd like to include that referral source question, that how did you hear about us or not on this page. We can change the complete purchase button. So from donate, we can change it to maybe give. And if we'd like to send people to a specific page after they've donated, we can put that URL in here. We can also choose to enable the email or enable or disable the email opt-in. So this option at checkout here, send me emails and updates. And we can also choose whether we want the billing phone number to be required or not. Now, if you're using pledge campaigns in GiveCloud, you can also specify a pledge campaign that will show up on this page as well. And if you'd like an honor roll of people who have given through this page to show up there also, then you can enable the honor roll option. Now, that's it for a sidebar checkout. The main thing to notice here is that if we want to change the content that shows up on the left here, we're not going to the donation item in sell and fundraise items, but rather we're going to the page in features, website, pages, and menus. So if I go there, here's the page that I was just looking at. If I click on it, here's where that content is. So let's say we wanted to change this image for an example. Well, we can click on the image, let's remove it. Let's hit add media and choose another image. So maybe passion lettuce here. Let's put that in. And again, we added an image, so we want to make it full width. So we're going to change the width to 100% and the height to auto. Now let's hit save on that. Now let's refresh. And here we go. So changing the content of the page would be in pages and menus. But let's say I wanted to make a change to the donation form that shows up on the right. Maybe I wanted to change what the preset amounts are or add an annual option as well. Then we'll do that in sell and fundraise items. So features, sell and fundraise items. Then let's find our general fund. Here it is. So let's say we wanted to add an annual option or yearly. Let's call it yearly. Oops. And let's change the payment type to recurring annually and the price type to donation. Let's enter our presets in here. So maybe for yearly, we want higher presets, so 100, 500, 1000 and other. Let's put that in. Now let's hit save. Now, if we refresh our donation page, now we can see that yearly option has shown up here as well. Now, let's say that we wanted to make yearly the default option that was selected when someone first comes to this page. Well, again, we're going to go back to the item and we're going to click on yearly and we're going to set this as default, hit update, hit save. Now, when someone comes to the page for the first time, now the yearly option is selected by default. Now, the other important thing to note here is that the URL that we're going to share with our supporters, that we're going to put in a menu, or how do you access this donation page, will be the URL in the page that we created in pages and menus. So if we go back to pages and menus, here's that general fund sidebar checkout page we created. So if I click on it, this is the page where the content is that we put in, and here's those sidebar options of the general fund and so on. Now this URL on the top left here, this is the URL of how that supporters will use to access this donation page. So let's say we wanted to edit it, we can just click on that little pencil icon, and let's just say we wanted to just be /give, for example. And then we hit save on that. And now our URL is /give. So now we can take that URL and we can share it on social media, put it in the menu, link it to a button somewhere on our site, and so on.